나를 이 꼴로 만든 가증스러운 사람과 세상에 대한 복수.
그야 네가 원하던 자유라는 것에 가까워지고 있냐는 뜻이지. 롤란!
I have nothing but my sorrow, and I want nothing more. It has been, it still is, faithful to me. Why should I begrudge it, since during the hours when my soul crushed the depths of my heart, it was seated there, beside me. Oh, sorrow, I have ended, you see, by respecting you, because I am certain you will never leave me. I realize it. Your beauty lies in the force of your being. You are like those who never left a sad fireside corner of my poor black heart. Book, Librarian, Star, and City. I've played a lot of card-type video games over the years. Slay the Spire, Legends of Runeterra, Gwent, Hearthstone, and a lot more, but they never really stuck to me because they're either far too easy or Noob Destroyer 69 on the other side of the board decides to do an ass pull. Don't even get me started on card games that require you to purchase in-game card packs for real money just so you could get past the tutorial. But, microtransactions and online card games aside, single-player card-based video games have been making a very unique splash on the market, with games like Slay the Spire and Inscription making their rounds for being challenging and or unique in one way or another. It is no surprise that this niche part of the video game industry is starting to have a lot of eyes on it. But there is one card game that never really garnered that much attention despite having the most fun and head-bashingly challenging gameplay out of every single card game out there, paired with one of the most convoluted and peak stories to have ever existed. Oh, wait, what's that in your hand? An invitation? Well then, welcome friend to the library of Ruina. May you find your book in this place.
Open the curtains, lights on. Don't miss a moment of this experiment. Oh, the book is strange, like clockwork orange. Keep your eyes buttered till the end. Which you are going to be. Inside the mirror, do you see someone else in the body? Transforming one hand, two hand, three hand, turn around, say like a doggy till I finish my beat. Cut it off, cut down your nose. All this over loyalty is gonna get you killed. You may broke but all convenient theories for the puppets on TV. There is comfort in the streets if you're gonna control me. At least make it interesting theatrically. When does it hit for me? Think I am done with everything. Now I'm ready to leave. Dragging out one line, two lines, three lines. Connect our hands when I no longer can live on knowledge alone. You gave me strength, hopeful curiosity. You're still happy, answers left for my discovery. What's the color of the electric sheep you see? And if you love me, can you love your everything too for me?
You know, the first time I found this game existed was not through word of mouth nor through advertisements. No, I found this game while I was looking for soundtracks that I could use in a video, and I stumbled upon the opening sequence for this game, String Theocracy by Millie. Suffice to say, everything went downhill from there. I was introduced into the Project Moon universe and I fucking love it. The thing is, this isn't really the first time I was exposed to their games. A YouTuber by the name of Arcangela was the one that introduced me to Lobotomy Corporation. But her videos weren't really enough to make me dip my feet into the water. No, it was something else. Alright folks, first things first, limb amputation. We meet our protagonists, Roland, a washed up grade 9 fixer, and Angela, an AI who has daddy issues. Huge disclaimer by the way, you don't need to know Lobotomy Corporation's story in order to play Library of Ruina, and is mostly just for additional context so players can go, oh, wait. We mainly follow the eyes of Roland, who is like the newer players who know nothing about Lobotomy Corp. As for the LobCorp veterans, they follow Angela's eyes as folks who are familiar of LobCorp's lore. So what exactly is the goal of the library? Well, Angela wants to obtain the one true book so she can become human. And where does Roland fit into the story here? Well, he's a random dude who wanted a ham-ham-pang-pang sandwich. Yeah. You follow the story of this uncanny duo and their journey to find the one true book by obtaining different kinds of books found within the city. You might probably think, oh, this is a very slice of life-esque plot right here. This should be wholesome, right? And to that I say, did you just forget that Roland got his limbs amputated a few minutes ago? My good sir and ma'am, no, you get books by killing people. No traces left behind, it's the perfect crime. You see, the human mind is an enigma, and by turning people into books, we gain the dopamine drip of knowledge. And how this works is that Angela sends out an invitation to unsuspecting victims. She then entices them with knowledge, like a fucking carrot on a stick, dangling for those juicy, fat pigs. Then, they enter the library and, well, you kill him. Shoot him. Shoot him if you can. Well, you're probably asking, Cypher, it's an invitation, right? They can just refuse when they want to. So why is it that they don't? Well, to begin with, we are in the city. To quote an old video of mine, the city is an urban complex which is the last known remaining bastion of humanity, with a dystopian cyberpunk setting where lives are cheap and death is cheaper. So, in a world like that, information can be sold for a hefty amount of cash. From backstreet rats to mega corporations, they froth at the chance to obtain the dopamine drip of knowledge. And the library can provide them with the info they oh so desperately need. But that's not all. Some people willingly enter the library to retrieve the books of the people they lost. Some use the invitation out of desperation or maybe just a means to escape. It really depends on the individual, and throughout this journey, we will meet these people and the choices they make will impact the story overall. But the story isn't really just focused on the guests, as we call them. It also focuses on the story of the library itself. Throughout the story, you will encounter more guests, and with more guests comes with more books. And with more books comes with more varieties of it. So think of it like this. You as a person know many different things, and compiling all of that information into one book is, well, simply impossible. So we separate that information and categorize them into different sections. After all, it is a library. We generally start with the floor of general works, also known as Keter, with Roland being the patron librarian of said floor. As we progress the story and as the library starts filling up with more books, Angela starts waking up the other librarians. And for people who aren't familiar with them, these librarians are former LobCorp employees. With more librarians getting added, more floors get unlocked with different patron librarians such as Hawkma, Balls, and Malcute. No, her name's not Malkuth, it's Malcute. You cannot change that fact. Each of them being very unique than the last, which also translates very well into their gameplay. Now, in terms of symbolism, each of the patron librarians actually represent what Roland and Angela lack. An example would be the hope to be a better person, where it represents Hod and how Angela struggles with that sentiment due to her own selfishness, or the expectation of the meaning of existence, which Tipperith represents, and how Roland struggles to find any meaning in life, being a complete nihilist. Each of these issues are things that both of them need to confront, and with all of the patron librarians helping them realize what they lack or fail to recognize. It's this journey of self-improvement from these two characters that we keep following along, knowing that they were never alone, that there are people who are willing to extend a hand and help them get past their issues. And when the curtains are about to close, both of them extend a hand to one another to support themselves, to break that cycle of nihilism and self-isolation, because they both know that it's better to forgive and forget than to continue with that path of self-destruction. It's just amazing how this story is told, how every single step of the way everything around Roland and Angela influenced them, one way or another. Whether it's the determination of a guest or the fucking stash of alcohol that Zach has decided to bring out, it's just amazingly well put. And this is a fucking card game! For Christ's sake, like what the fuck? I haven't even covered the gameplay section yet, and it genuinely feels like I could just end the video here, like right now. But no. No, we're not done. No. We're not done yet. It's time to talk about the gameplay. Okay? So, second things second. I will have to go through the basics and show you how the gameplay works so that you'll understand as to what I'm yapping about in just a moment. If you already know how the gameplay works or want a pure blind experience, then you can just skip to this timestamp. Dice. Dice is what is important. Every unit has a speed dice. The more higher speed dice you roll, the easier you'll be able to redirect enemy attacks so long as your speed dice is higher than the enemy's. The amount of speed dice is also the amount of cards you can use during a turn. Every card has a minimum and maximum dice roll. It can go from 1 to 2 or 30 to 40, and it can go even higher than that, to be honest. This is where clashing comes in. So long as your attack arrow and the enemy attack arrow meets, a clash occurs where your best bet is to always try to come out on top. And to make that clash work perfectly, there are 3 different attack dice and 2 different defense dice. No, 3 defense dice, actually. I guess I'll count that as defensive dice. Okay, so attack is slash, pierce, and blunt. Enemies can range from the attack being ineffective to fatally weak. Dodge, block, and counter are the defensive ones. Dodge dice can be reused in a clash so long as the dodge can outroll the enemy attack. Block will mitigate a set amount of damage based on its roll count, but if block can outroll an enemy attack, it will instead completely nullify it and deal some stagger damage. Counter dice is well, it can be anything, depending on the card. Slash, pierce, blunt, dodge, block, anything really. And it can be reused so long as the dice is always outrolling the opponents. Problem is, counter dice will only ever work so long as the oncoming attack is a one-sided one. One-sided attacks will only ever occur so long as the attack isn't clashing anything. For example, having everyone attack a single dude.
Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done that.
Cards cost life, a resource that every unit has and can use. Now, do you see this? You have 2 bars on each librarian, one for HP and one for stagger. HP is self-explanatory, but stagger is essentially a break bar. If that gets down to 0, you won't be able to do anything that turn, and all of your resistances will be turned to fatal, regardless of your key page stats. Speaking of key pages are your stat sticks. A key page will determine whether how many speed dice you will have, how many health and stagger you have, and what resistances you have as well. Not to mention key page passives, where you can slot in some other unused key page passives and just put them into your current one. The combinations here are a lot. to be honest. You're gonna be spending the majority of your time here before you enter a reception. Battling guests are what we call receptions, yes. And finally, emotions.
Emotional damage.
Every high or low roll you do, or every clash you win or lose, you will get emotion. Emotions will influence your maximum light and give an additional speed dice as well as an abnormality page gain. Oh, I forgot to talk about abnormalities now, haven't I? Yeah, your nightmare fuels are back, and they're here to lend you a helping hand. You gotta beat the shit out of them first though. Now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about something. Library of Ruina is a fucking difficult game. The game is playable. You can clear it, you can finish it, but getting there is an absolute fucking nightmare. Those vertical spike memes, well, they weren't overreactions, man. No. I genuinely think learning quantum physics is easier. The game is $30 to $40, depending on whether you're PC or console. $10 if you watch for a Steam sale. I bought it during a sale, it's cheap, affordable, and genuinely worth my money and time. But the $10 that I spent aside, I feel like it costed me something else as well.
Leave me alone!
The basics I covered earlier was long, right? Like very long. In fact, it takes up a whole goddamn page in my script. But that was just the basics. As you delve deeper and deeper into the game with more hours poured into it, more mechanics become available to you. It becomes apparent that you need to learn how to deck build. Remember what I said earlier about how you're going to be spending the majority of your time building up your key pages? Yeah. Trial and error. In fact, trial by fire. For me, the game is difficult fun. It's true that I do get frustrated sometimes when the enemy has a 30 to 40 dice roll that I can't fucking counter. Or a 7-staged fight that makes me want to kill myself for even trying to get there. It is difficult fun. For me. But for everyone else who doesn't really have the time to deal with shenanigans and tomfoolery, I have something that will help you. Meet Alith Nix. My guy, my man. He made a full, and I say a full, guide to everything you need to tackle in this game. From the beginning all the way to the end, I wholeheartedly recommend this channel to anyone who is struggling with trying to clear the game but do not have the time to dedicate themselves to learn through trial by fire. Alith, if you're watching this, that might be impossible, but goddamn, you have my utmost respect, brother. Moving on, the game is fairly straightforward a lot of the times. But what you really need to look out for is the fine print. Certain fights can have long essays on the key pages or sometimes the cards themselves. Reading is key here. Do not gloss over it, do not fast read it, do not even think of ignoring it.
I ain't reading all that.
Take your time and slowly put the pieces together. It is crucial because fights here can go up to an hour long, hell, even more than that. And if you fuck up, you will start at the beginning of that fight. There is no checkpoint here. If you fuck up, you fucked up. It is brutal. Now that I've covered all of that, let's talk about the gameplay and story. It is really amazing how this story is translated so well into gameplay. Now to get into what I'm talking about here, let's check in to the various floors of the library. Each floor has a theme, and they mostly cater to the patron librarian's personality. Say for example, Yesod. The dude is very straightforward and blunt about his remarks to anything and everyone. Unga bunga blunt. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you guys fail acting school? Because I'm seeing a bunch of clowns in front of me. Dark Flame. Or, you know, the floor of language patron library. Holy shit! Is that the red mist? She can't even read books, but she is proficiently fluent in the one language that everyone speaks and understands, no matter their gender, race, culture, or education. Let languages. Violence. I don't know, man, but they cooked with this. They have the most niche of niche stuff. A card type video game and a Korean indie developer team. Like, they made it work. And it is just so fucking peak. Not to mention the very weighty hits and crispy clashes. My god. The sound effects for every single type of attack is just really amazing and fits so well with what kind of attack it is. The art style is alright, to be honest. Compared to their current game, Limbus Company, it's not really up to date. But honestly, I feel like it fits. It's an acquired taste, as one would say. Nearly everything in this game has been exceptionally great, but it only gets better from here. I would like to talk about the music. Every single theme here blends so well with the story and gameplay. The opening itself was something else. It was just great. But past that point, that chippy, cheery, jazzy music that played, once you get into the main menu, you are greeted with this. It is foreboding. You hear that theme and you feel like something isn't right. Until you realize later on why that music played, and it starts to make a lot of sense. This is the aftermath of what happened to LobCorp. Now, each floor has their own type of music, with each one having its own type to each floor. Yes, I'm playing different floor soundtracks right now, and for like the entirety of this video as well. For example, Netzax. And Venus. And you know what's even better? Emotion level changes the music. Like this. And more! What's even crazy is this music isn't even music for battling against the guests. No, it isn't their theme. It's your theme. You're the fucking boss battle, and the guests are challengers in this library. Oh, but it gets even crazier than that. When those goddamn guests take the aux cord, it's time for Millie. Get your water buckets and fire extinguisher ready, boys. This song is fire. Literally.
여전히 난 나를 위해 싸울 것이다. 나를 위해 목숨 바친 동료들을 무시하겠다는 게 아니야. 각오해라. 오늘 도시의 별 하나가 질 테니.
이 친구는 나 혼자 상대할 테니 잠시 물러나줘. 이거지.
So here we are, nearly at the end of the video. You know, it's a bit frustrating that this amazing game isn't that well known in the card style category of video games. It's a shame that not many people talk about it, because I genuinely feel like it is a game that deserves your attention. Because not many people make these types of games anymore, ones that are filled with passion. Library of Ruina was released 4 years ago, and the game went through a couple of hiccups here and there since Project Moon decided to make the game into an early access type of deal, until eventually they finished it, and the game was fully released in its entirety. Honestly speaking, it's better than most early access games out there. I went through hours upon hours of playing this game. Whether I was making the smartest 200 IQ strat plays or bashing my head into a wall after failing multiple times in a row, when I got to the end, when I saw the beacon of light shine once more, a light that was previously snuffed out, it dawned on me. Every single minute that I played this game was worth it. It was all worth it. And I simply sat there as A tells me one last line.
미안해. 그리고 수고했어.
Library of Ruina is a story about terrible people coming to terms with their issues and changing for the better. Not just for the sake of others, but for themselves as well. A story of what it means to be human. A story of dealing with one's loss. What makes you a person. Because your trauma does not define who you are. Nobody can decide who you are. Who you are as a person is who you want yourself to be. We're not perfect. Nobody is. And yet we strive for perfection nonetheless. We'll never achieve it. But it's the journey that matters. And throughout our journey, we will meet others who are like us. The pages of our lives overlapping one another. And together, we'll stand tall against all odds. And one day, maybe, just maybe, we'll find that one true book.